Welcome to Shepherd's Coffee Talk. You know, there's so much to learn about olive oil, and we have a very interesting guest today who's going to teach us some new things.
Exactly. Elizabeth Kilvert is the owner of Unrefined Olive here in Ottawa, shipping across the country, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Online all the time.
Online all the time. I met Elizabeth when she first started her business, and I find it so interesting, you know, how do people get to where they are, right, Marlene? We want to know the story.
Journey?
What's the journey been? And Elizabeth is a marine biologist.
Has so much to do with olive oil.
Absolutely.
She's a maritimer, so has that beautiful, generous spirit, and decided at some point that marine biology just wasn't for her. Olive oil was the thing. So can you fill us in on that, gal?
How did you get there?
Okay, well, international development studies, marine biology. I always joke that, you know, you do what's rooted in your passion. My passion is food and travel. So marine biology is still food related if you think about it. At the end of the day, you can still eat your subject matter if you so choose, with olive oil, of course. But I was doing a lot of public education, a lot of natural history museum education, government work. And I just said, I've always wanted to be a business person. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I want it rooted in my core values. So I want it to be food. I want it to be delicious, easy, nutritious, sustainable, and ethical food. I started cogitating, and I came up with olive oil.
Cogitating.
Cogitating.
Cogitating is a beautiful word. I've never heard the word before. Have you?
No.
Okay. To cogitate means what?
To cogitate means to think or ruminate.
I
See,
love it.
olive oil, the iodic glycerols and the polyphenols help your brain function. So this is a perfect example of my vocabulary.
She knows that word and we don't.
Absolutely.
Gotta eat more
But
olive
when we
oil.
have more olive oil, we'll know the words.
Okay.
The words will come.
Let's see where we are in a week from now.
You build it, the words will come. So now, you know, that's a pretty daunting task, though, to say I'm going to start a business out of nowhere and be a business person owning an olive oil company. I'm sure people looked at you sideways.
Absolutely. I had people who would, basically I left my dental plan and my federal civil service security and started brushing my teeth 3 times a day. And I had never even been in the world of retail. I'd never even touched the point of sales. So the first thing I did, I said, okay, what does a business person do? They have a corporation, so I incorporated myself. And then found a space, signed the lease, started researching, reading all the time, looking for point of sale systems, who my suppliers were going to be, who my brokers, the local folks who could make my furnishings and my dishware for me, to work with locality. That was really important. And this was a rollout from September to November the 15th.
What year?
This was in 2012.
2012.
2012.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years, and it was like a 2.5 month turnaround. I still keep that work back calendar because when I look at that, I'm like, I can do anything if I could do that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, because often, you know, we're always looking forward, right, Marlene?
Yeah.
We're looking at what's next, or what do we have to do, or what haven't we done? And when you need to look back and see how far you've come and what you actually did achieve, because then it teaches you, you really can do anything.
Yeah, we don't often do that. We don't reflect. I have a friend who was a really, really wise friend, and they said, on your birthdays that are the 5s and the 0s, always look back at your resume in some cases, or the things like that. Work back calendar, something that makes you realize how much you can achieve, because we don't often reflect. We're always looking at what we didn't do, what we could be doing, where we should
beat ourselves up.
We beat ourselves up very badly. So let's do that reflection and
It's
build this
reflection
vision.
and also celebrating our achievements, because you know, even I find learning something new, I just feel so good about myself now when I learn something that I didn't expect I would at this stage of my life. So 7 years in, talk about what Unrefined Olive is all about for people who don't live in Ottawa, maybe haven't been to your store.
Absolutely. So what it is, you come in, we have over 60 olive oils and balsamic vinegars. They're in these big stainless steel fusti's or tanks. You can taste them all, so it's what your taste buds prefer. We have the most beautiful balsamics from Modena, Italy, aged 12 to 18 years. White ones, dark ones, pomegranate, quince. It's like a taste of sunshine. Fig balsamic on cheeses, goat cheese and salad. I can't talk about an olive oil or balsamic without thinking of a food and making myself hungry again. And then the olive oils we source from northern, southern hemisphere. We let people know. California, how long do you think they've been producing olive oil?
I don't know. You're going to surprise me.
Over 500 years. The Spanish missionaries, 500 years. So don't dismiss a country of origin. Don't just want
Don't be a
Italy.
snob about it.
Don't be a snob about it. It's what your taste buds prefer. So we make ourselves completely accessible.
Wow.
We say our door opens to everyone, and it goes both ways back out to community too.
So what are your buying trips like?
Buying, I know, everyone, okay, so,
I mean, it's
so-
like a wine.
I know. Everyone pictures me, flying
Oh, yeah.
private off to my suppliers in Tuscany and Peru.
Of course.
The truth in this day and age is
Online.
I'll
online.
send you little samples.
Now I have visited some of my producers in California. I was fortunate enough to go to Spain this year to visit Andreas and his family, and it was tremendous to be at their mill and to see the groves of the Hoji Blanca olives and the Frentoyo olives. There are 700 kinds of olives that can be grown to make olive oil. Almost 80 countries of production. Think of the wine growing countries, Australia, South Africa. So lots of different climate, not terroir like wine. So many different things to choose from. I also go to the New York International Olive Oil Competition
okay.
because the producers submit and go there. So it's not too far to go away.
Oh, that's nice.
And you don't have to ask
Then
me
you
twice
get
to
the
go to
best of the
Manhattan.
best there, right?
The best of the best.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you form those relationships.
I started using, my husband and I started using HelloFresh.
Oh,
Because I'm not a
okay.
cook.
Okay.
But I had to with this, right? And
Yeah.
I love it. We really are enjoying it. But I was always amazed when they'd say, get the pan hot,
Yes.
and then put a tablespoon of oil, olive oil.
She's got a lot to say about that.
Absolutely. So we have all this mythology about olive oil, right? Don't cook with it. It has a low smoke point. All olive oil tastes the same. Buy cheapest is best. Buy Italian, etc., etc. So with olive oil, with ours, they're premium extra virgin, not just extra virgin. So if olive oil has a taste fault or a chemistry fault to it, it gets declassified from extra virgin to pomace to lampante. Lampante was the original use of olive oil, lamp oil for illumination. So olive oil, when it is a premium extra virgin, has to do with the free fatty acids. We're not going to go into organic chemistry, not enough coffee for that this morning. But we...
Can you keep up with that? I need more olive oil because I'm still back 2 minutes ago.
Absolutely. I'll let you cogitate on that. So with the premium extra virgin olive oil, because it has polyphenols, think of polyphenols like vitamins. Okay, that's the sensation, the little cough with good fresh olive oil. That's the super nutritive that's good for our hearts, for our brains, for so many things. But that's what gives it the high smoke point, 425 degrees. Cook your eggs, stir fry, grill your vegetables. You're adding flavor, remember, 700 varietals, and you're adding taste and nutrition. And that's what we always say. You're adding taste and you're adding nutrition. Have something with olive oil. Or have something on its own, finish it with olive oil, soup, a grilled meat, whatever. You can deep fry with olive oil. Not cost effective, but it's delicious.
And I love too, the one thing we haven't really focused on is all the different, like the olive oil on its own is amazing and can be different flavors, but the flavors that are added in to provide, when you combine a flavored olive oil with another flavored balsamic vinegar, it's like a circus for your mouth.
Absolutely. So we have the single estate, so those pure extra virgin olive oils, but our flavor fused and infused olive oils are still pure extra virgin olive oil, but they have blood orange, or they're crushed with wild dill, or wild mushroom and save, porcini, chanterelle. Marlene will make you into a cook. Just cook the most basic pasta, put that on Parmesan cheese, little arugula, so you feel like you're getting vitamins and vegetables.
So
Dinner
there's more to
served.
olive oil than just a dipping for your bread.
Bread.
Mamma mia.
Salads, marinades,
Yes, of course.
even cocktails. We do cocktail classes. There's so many uses for it. With our olive oils and balsamics, we say don't get bored of your salad, don't get bored with your food. 60 olive oils and balsamic provide over 1,800 flavor combinations in our store. Again, layering flavor and nutrition on top of your food, taking what you're already doing and elevating it.
So how long should you keep a bottle of olive oil?
Excellent question. Always buy an olive oil, hopefully with the unrefined olive on it, but in a dark glass bottle, UV protected. It's the light, the air, and the heat that destroy olive oil. For our olive oils, we never carry an olive oil over a year old. They've been harvested, and then a year from that time, and after that we make them into soap. We donate them to the Ottawa Mission, Shepherds of Good Hope, but a year for olive oil. And then balsamic vinegar, it's an aged product, so 3 to 5 years for balsamic vinegar.
So if there's their expiry date on it, you don't keep it past a year old.
But even better, you can teach yourself how to differentiate good olive oil and bad olive oil. 75% of olive oil that's out there is rancid, expired, blended, nut, and seed oils.
know.
We don't lead with the fear mongering. We just focus on what we do and do it well. So olive oil should never be heavy or greasy in your mouth. It's a fresh picked fruit oil. It's a stone fruit, like a cherry, like a peach, like a plum. Never heavy or greasy. Smell it. Does it smell like jarred olives? Olive tapenade, waxy crayons? other descriptors, which we won't go into. We all know sour and rancid.
Oh,
Who leaves, yes, not pleasant, but like sour milkiness or butter that's been out or a stale bitter walnut, those kind of flavors should never be present. If olive oil smells like your friends, your spouses, or your own hockey gear,
well, of course.
yeah, that sock that you left in your gym bag. So you see where I'm going. If it's unpleasant smells or tastes, that's not something you want to be associated with. But if it's artichokes, herbs, tomatoes, all of those different tastes can be present in olive oil. Mangoes. Take an olive oil that has a sub-note of tomatoes, put it on a fresh tomato. It just makes that flavor.
We're in. We got this.
I think you're going to have to rewind this a few times. There's so many nuggets.
Or
what you're
visit
talking
the
about.
Unrefined Olive and taste, because what I love is you can taste and talk to the people, they understand the product. But you know, what I love about Elizabeth's story is how because as I said, I've known her, we left our previous jobs in the same year, by the way. And so 7 years on, you've seen a lot of growth and a lot of your vision. And it's the same with you, Marlene. When you have a vision for what you want and you get your team on board, it's amazing what happens. And now Elizabeth has seen her vision coming to life and her team is really on board. So what does that feel like?
I was just saying, I think that in this past 4 to 6 months, I've gotten the business to a place where I didn't know it would be. They say, as we were talking about, your business is your baby, and then it becomes your petulant teenager, and then it becomes your adult child who moves back into your basement. And you want a little bit more autonomy so you can be focused on the creative aspect side, right? You've got to be nimble, you've got to be adaptive, to look at things, to grow yourself, to grow your team around you. I am in the fortunate position where we have nurtured that, and both my stores act as one entity. They work together. They combine the tasks. Everyone has an area that they truly feel ownership over. Amazing. We do trainings. I send them to training. They, even if they don't have to talk to each other 2 stores in a day, they'll call them and just be like, "What are you wearing?" Because they miss each other. But to have that camaraderie, that professionalism, they're intelligent. They're so fun to work with. I didn't know that I would be able to get to this point, and we talked many years ago, and that's kind of your hope, because there are other things you have to be working on in business these days.
Yes,
right?
true enough.
Well, it comes from the top.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was
obviously
gonna
you can
say
see
too.
the passion, which is really the most important ingredient when you're opening up a business.
Yes.
In addition to good olive oil.
And it's leadership by example. Exactly. So that's what this story is all about.
Yeah.
And we were just sort of getting started, as you can tell. Check out the Unrefined Olive online, or pop into one of their stores either in Ottawa in the Glebe or in Canada. Elizabeth Kilvert, Queen of Unrefined.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
joining
very much.
us for coffee. Have a great
Cheers.
day.